Okay, so this is a run down Pioneer on Peak 7. Peak 7. So you can see that I'm getting off the lift here, and as I get off the lift, I'm looking at this beautiful sight. It was a really nice and sunny day. There's nothing like a sunny day when you're skiing, especially out in these higher mountains out west, especially in Colorado, as they're much higher than a lot of the other mountains we ski at. I ski a lot at Utah as well, but Colorado, in terms of height, beats Utah. I mean, a day like this, it's just perfect. Peak 7 is a great place to learn to become a better skier. And as you can see here, the terrain is nice, it's smooth, it's well groomed, so there's no issues. For a beginner who's transitioning into green, I think this is a green trail, who's transitioning into green skiing, you're going to have your first big mountain green and blue skiing. You're going to have your first attempt to just cruise for a long period of time. I mean, it's going to take a while to get to the bottom here. You can see there's trees and there's lots of beautiful stuff here. Wow. Even for somebody like myself who's been skiing, I mean, I haven't been skiing that long compared to like people who started very young in life. I started skiing at 48 and now I'm 57, so it hasn't been that long, but I do spend a lot of time skiing, and I think this is heaven. Oop, poor guy. If you think about it, imagine you spend money on going out to the west. Get on a plane, you do all the stuff, you rent your skis out there, or you bring your own skis. It's quite an expenditure. And then you ski something like this for your first time ever skiing at a big mountain. It's like heaven. And you think, wow, this was worth it. This one run right here was worth the cost of the flight and everything and all the other stuff you have to deal with. And then you get more than this. It's just one run, right? Look at that. Wide, groomed run. If it was snowing, of course, you'd have powder here. It would be a different situation. But for a beginner or somebody who's just transitioning to blues or getting out of the bunny slopes and trying to work his or her way up to blues and beyond, this is just fantastic. There's a good skier right there going down, and you're going to get a lot of different levels of skiers here. Some of these are transitions. Say, like if you parked, or you'll see when we get down to the bottom here, there's a gondola that comes up here, and a lot of times I park in the city. I'm going to take the gondola from my car right to, usually I go to peak 8, but this is peak 7, so there's a stop here on your way to peak 8 if you want to go to peak 8, or you can just do peak 7. Usually peak 7 gets kind of crowded, but rumor has it that next year you'll have a new chair over there, or new lift at least in peak 7, so a lot of the congestion will be alleviated. This is such a great place to camp out and ski. I mean, think about it. For somebody like myself who works hard, I teach, and I teach beginners primarily, or people who are progressing from bunny slopes. I like to say bunny to green, or green to blue, right? They're progressing in that direction. This is what you want. This is ideal. I mean, there's plenty of terrain. It's wide enough to help people get over their anxieties. Most skiers who are transitioning have a lot of anxieties, whether sometimes it's even actually riding the lift. Just riding the lift is scary enough because you're high up, but it could be the train, and often it is the train, or it's just moving in some cases. But now you got to the point where you can move and you feel comfortable. So this is beautiful right here. So I'm avoiding so this is bonus footage. So if you can leave here now and you're done. So I've finished the run, Pioneer run on peak 7, but I'm heading to peak 8. This is bonus footage. I decided to keep it because it shows how you can like avoid the lift there if it gets busy, and head on the gondola to peak 8. So that's what I'm doing. So here I'm taking off my skis and I'm just gonna hike onto the gondola. By the way, these were nice Dynastar twin tips that I got, if you ever do demo skis, so I usually rent demo skis, come with good stuff. And demos can be expensive, but, well, but you get some good stuff, right? So what you want to do is if you're renting demos, you can, and this is a ski instructor told me this. He said, Daniel, when you rent demos, you can change them from day to day if the conditions change. Like you want powder skis for powder days or other carving skis for carving days. So I chose these twin tips because I like playing around in twin tips. And so I took his advice and went back to I think I did Christie's in Dillon, and I went back and I said, hey, can I just change my skis? The dude at the door, he might be a manager, saying he did not like me for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I had a cavalier attitude. Hey, dude, I want to exchange my skis. I don't even know if it's cavalier. It was just relaxed and mellow. And he gave me kind of a hard time. He didn't want to hear my story. But there's a lot of background to this trip. It was just like difficult all the way, and I had a story to tell, but he didn't want to hear it. So this is a nice little gondola. This gondola takes you from town to Peak 8. Stops at Peak 7. It actually makes another stop before that too, at some private condos and stuff like that. So here we're going to Peak 8. So this is my little secret. So you don't have to wait at the lift in Peak 7, just go to Peak 8. Peak 8 has 2 lifts, and it's actually a great place. If you like party, Peak 8's the place to be. You've got you got plenty of fun stuff. There's a really killer train park. I know they have like international competitions there, so it's really great, big half pipe and all. So this is the place to be. I love Peak 8. In fact, I always park to go to Peak 8. It may not be a good idea because I never get to peak. I never get to the other peaks like 9, etc. I kind of end up getting stuck here. I mean, Breckenridge is that big that you can just like get stuck in an area. I know I went to Peak 6 too. It's one of my favorite areas. There you go. So we're arriving at Peak 8 here. So I'm going to let you just like kind of take in this whole scenery. Yeah, nice stuff, huh? One reason I like doing these videos is I get to look back and remember some of the fun that I had. Here with 2 lifts, you actually have a lower line. It looks like it's a big line, but it's not. As a single, where you're skiing by yourself, as single, you actually get an advantage in terms of lifts. I always like, even if my son and I are skiing together, we actually act as singles sometimes because you get through the line a lot faster. Shh, it's my secret. And look at that blue sky. And there's a lot of condos there, so Breckenridge is a good place to stay. It's a good party town. Spring break. And if you don't want to go to the beach, go here. Beach is overrated, right? I know people love the beach. That's cool. I get it. Yep, there's another single right there. I said, hey, can I go on the lift with you? She's like, yeah, cool, let's go. Turned out she's a fellow Washingtonian. So I'm from D.C., Washington, D.C., and this was a fellow Washingtonian on a trip here. So that's cool. It was fun. I'm letting you see this because it's so pretty. I mean, look at the whole scenery as you go up this lift. It's something you don't get in states where we have smaller mountains. And if you look at that bar as I dropped it down. It has a map. You see that a lot with the Vail resorts out west. You have these maps that show you all the different trails, so you can start planning your, where am I going to ski? Shows you all the different trails. As you can see, that it was very well groomed. Can you imagine how much time it must take to groom that stuff? You have, what do you have, 10 groomers? The snow cats. She had nice skis. Look at those. Nice color. Although I think mine were better. Me and my mittens. So I got these mittens this year. They're POC. So if you know anything about POC, they're POC. If you know anything about those, I think they're Czech, and they have these really cool little interlocking mechanisms with their poles. So when you buy their poles, you can actually click your gloves on the poles. It's great. No, they're not. There you go. See, sorry, I took a moment to look them up. They're Lecky, Leki, not POC. POC. I have a POC helmet. And well, actually, here I have POC goggles, but they're Lecky, Leki. Those are the Czech poles and gloves. But anyway, these gloves I got, they're super warm, or they're actually mittens. They're super warm, and you can but they have this interlocking mechanism between the thumb and the rest of the fingers. If you have the Lecky poles, you can just click on there. That's so perfect, because I hate that whole thing where you have to put your hands, in these little loops in order to secure your hands to the poles. Besides, that doesn't even guarantee you're not going to lose your pole. Later on in the season, I lost the pole in Alta, when it was there was a big powder day, and I caught a snow snake. I don't even know. I still can't figure out what happened, but it flipped me over, and I landed in this billowy soft powder. It was really beautiful, but I lost my pole and I couldn't find it. So if I had those Lecky poles with me, I would have done better. They're not cheap though. The racing poles run 150 to $200. So for poles, right? You're thinking stupid poles shouldn't be that expensive, but yeah, they are. So you can see down here there's some really good places to practice mogul skiing, and I'm thinking, I want to do that. I want to learn to mogul ski. I'm not there yet. I can go through them, but I need to go through them better to get my level 2. So that ain't good enough, just going through them. Probably talking about how cool DC is, except for DC doesn't have any skiing nearby. DC is awesome. Yeah, Georgetown. Yeah, cool. I was born at GW Hospital. That's me. Yeah, I was born at GW. Here's somebody thinking, I want to do that. That sounds good. I love when skiers just wait to decide, am I going to do that or am I not going to do that? I mean, most of these runs are not that hard here. They're pretty easy, actually. But when you get up to the top and there's these gnarly drop-offs, man, you're thinking should I do that? Is my life that important? No, I'm just kidding. It's cool. Very pretty. Look at that. So if you're thinking, I want to go to Breckenridge, you should do it. It's worth the investment. You will have a good time. I mean, you will have a good time. And here we go, getting off the lift. And that's just about it. Yep. Here we are. Say bye to my friend here. Bye. Take care. Go ski. Have fun. Have fun. Bye. See y'all.